Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and oh boy. It seems like we're in the month of TV mania, because I've got the Menendez Brothers show to watch, I have The Penguin, I have The Old Man, and I'm going to be having Hell's Kitchen starting next week. It's like, it's so much TV. It's like that Berenstein Bears book, Too Much TV or something. Where were all these shows in the summertime when they were, bitching out of airing MasterChef every single week? We could have used The Old Man in the summer maybe. But yeah, I am here to review The Old Man Season 2, Episode 3. If you guys haven't watched my reviews for the Season 2 first 2 episodes yet, then I'll do a quick recap here. I thought that the first episode was not very good. I think I gave it a C+, but then I gave the second episode an A because I thought it had a lot of great character development, it had a lot of great acting, and it was highly enjoyable in comparison to the first episode, which was kind of it was a weak premiere, and you really needed the second episode in order for it to connect together to be excited about what would come next. And in general, I thought that the third episode was actually really good too. I would give this episode an A+. And that's because it continued to surprise me, and it continued to subvert everything that I thought would happen, because there were a lot of things that were happening in the episode that I thought, okay, this is very cliche, but then it would be oh no, this is actually going to happen. And they did that over and over and over again the whole episode. You had a lot of great acting, you had a lot of good I really liked the dynamic between Jeff Bridges and Faraz, and then the daughter and John Lithgow. They made such a great group of actors, an ensemble. I really enjoyed seeing them together for what little time that we got to see them together, throughout the episode. And this episode will also have spoilers too, so be warned. So what ends up happening is that John Lithgow actually saves Dan, and he shoots Faraz in the stomach, which is a typical place to get shot in a movie or a show. You either get shot in the shoulder or the stomach. You never get shot in the heart. You never get shot in the liver or the kidneys or the lungs or anything. It's always the stomach or the shoulder. And so, they have a little reunion. And another thing that I really liked about this episode was, instead of having too much dialogue, like they would have in an MCU movie, you had a lot of really good silent moments. And one of those silent moments was when Emily first comes into the cave, the infamous cave. What would be really funny? I know that this is supposed to be in Afghanistan, but it'd be really hilarious if, for an Easter egg, if they made this the M Cave. If you guys know the story about the the Kenny Beach guy and how he found that one M Cave, and then he wanted to find it again because there was something weird going on there, and then he disappeared, and it'd be really hilarious if this was the M Cave. And I don't know how that would make sense, but that would have been really funny. Go look that up, because it's a really interesting story, and they're not really doing enough to find out what happened as usual. Anyways, they had a really nice little silent moment where, instead of saying a joke oh, you couldn't have waited at least until I got here, there's no jokes or anything. It was just a couple of minutes of silence between the characters, because not every moment in a movie or show has to have dialogue, or has to have a comedic quip, or has to have, some kind of an icebreaker. You can have silent moments where people just don't know what to say, or where people are saying things without saying anything dialogue-wise. And so I really like that a lot. And meanwhile, in town, there is still that sticky situation going on with the eye patch guy. He's the... did they call him Morgan? I can't remember. I really can't. Like, they haven't really said any of the characters' names very much except for the main ones, and so I'm having trouble. Like, I guess I could look on IMDb, but, like, I'll just call him the pirate guy or something, Like, the SpongeBob SquarePants guy, because he could be, like, the guy in the portrait when they have the theme song and he's singing the song, that could be this guy. That'd be pretty hilarious. He is still, standing his ground, and he's ready to do some damage to everyone in the town. And then, all of a sudden, this random guy who I don't know if I've ever seen his character before. I really can't remember. The way that they showed him, though, was like he was a new character. They did this reveal shot where they started off at his feet, and then they did this slow pan up his entire body with his silhouette, and, like, that's something that you do when you introduce a new character or when you're showing a really sexy female character in a bikini or something, so he wasn't a sexy female in a bikini, so he has to be a new character. There's no other reason why you would do a slow pan up someone's body. Well, maybe if it's a superhero or also if it's a monster, and he wasn't either of those, so... But this random guy, I guess he's one of Faraz's men. He rolls up, and it's like when you're playing GTA Online, and GTA 5 Online. I don't know if you guys have ever played that, but, like, it would be like if everyone, all the players are, like, in the middle of an intense showdown in the middle of the city, and then you just have this other random player show up in a helicopter, and he gets out, and he's like, "Hey, guys, what's going on? You guys should have waited for me, because I'm the convenient side character who's going to help out." And I was like, oh, this is kind of lame. He's just going to come in and save the day, and it's going to be like, oh, thanks, new side character that didn't exist before this episode and just so happened to appear at this correct moment. Like, thanks, random person. Like, he kind of looks like a Middle Eastern version of that one guy from Criminal Minds. That weird-looking guy with the curly-ish hair? And he was also in Smallville, that one episode. He kind of looks a little bit like him. And I can't even remember his name either. I think they said it, like, once. But he shows up and he's like, we made a mistake, and to all of what you have done here, my reply is this, and he just gives him a bag of money. And then it's like, okay, maybe it's all gonna cool down now. And then no, all of a sudden, the pirate guy wants to talk to one of the children from the village. And then the mom doesn't like that, that young mom that we got introduced to in the second episode. And then she gets killed because she tries to come out and save him. And then that's when shit hits the fan. And I know I'm a little out of breath, guys. I'm having allergy issues right now, and I'm like, like... It's funny, because a lot of the times, like, I won't have allergy issues, and then all of a sudden, when I'm starting to do a YouTube video, I'll have allergy issues come on. And it's like, what the fuck? I guess it's because I'm talking, and I don't know, maybe all the allergies are getting into my mouth or something. I don't know. But anyways, there's this whole debate about whether they should leave Faraz in the M cave or take him back to the village. What should they do with him? And Dan decides to save him because he's full, he's got heart. His character has heart and soul. And so, but the whole episode, they're basically debating what to do. Like, should they go in the village together? Should only Faraz go? Like, what should they do? because they're worried about, like, if they just go in there, they'll get killed, you know? What finally happens is that Faraz decides to go, and this was the point where I was like, you know, I was kind of like, this is going to be the cliche thing where he sacrifices himself, and he says, bye, Emily, and there's like a sappy Hollywood moment, and I was like, ugh. But then Emily decides to go because she has kind of become the best character on the show. You know, I guess I should be calling her Farawana now, because that was another hilarious thing that happened. I mean, John Lithgow's character, he has basically been sidelined this season to just being jealous of Emily and how there's two dads that she likes more than him. And so there's this part where she's like, obviously, I'm not Angela Adams anymore. I am Farawana. I can never be Angela Adams again. And so there's this whole hilarious part where Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow are riding on horseback together. And you know how in the first season they would have these long conversations in a car, you know, or something like that, or on the phone? It would always be on the phone, having these philosophical conversations. Well, in this episode, they have that, but they're on horseback, and it's so hilarious, because it's like, it would be so funny for, like, the whole season to just see, like, these old men on horseback, like, having these long conversations with each other about, like, life and shit. And he's really jealous. He's like, what did she mean by that? It means that she doesn't like me anymore. And then Dan has to be like, did you ever stop to think? Maybe she's not talking about you. Maybe she's just talking about something else. You know, they get into this whole conversation because John Lithgow got really jealous. But in the last part of the episode, because this was a really, like, climactic episode. In fact, I saw that for next episode, they're going to be back in America already, and that was really shocking to me. I assumed that this whole season would be in the Middle East, and then they would go back to America, like, at the end or something. But no, I guess they wouldn't really survive in the Middle East, you know? It's like, nobody survives in the Middle East, except for, I don't know. Who does survive in the Middle East, guys? Like, is there really, like, because in America, we have, like, Jimmy Carter, and we have all these, like, people who have survived years and years and years, and they're, like, 100 years old. But in the Middle East, do they even have anyone who lives to 100 years old, or they just eventually get shot and killed by someone, you know? Like, that's a good question to ask, you know? Like, is there are there any, like, is there anyone? I don't know. I don't think there is. It's like in The Irishman, where the main character's like, who got that guy? You know, like, they were saying that, like, that one guy died, and he was like, who got that guy? And they're like, sickness. It's like, it's just everyone kills each other and shit, and, you know, that's the Middle East for you. But anyways, she has a little standoff with the eye patch guy, and I really, really loved this scene. It was such a fantastic scene. It really made the episode, because it was like, ugh, what's going to happen here? Is there going to be something really depressing that happens? And she basically, I guess at first, she thought she was going to reason with him, and she was going to tell him, like, the story and expect for him to be like, oh, maybe I didn't think about this properly. But then she looks over and sees the dead body of the mom, and I guess at that point, she realized that he wouldn't care who she was. That was something kind of confusing to me. Because, like, in that moment, she could have also been thinking, like, oh, she killed that woman, so I want to kill him. You know, like, because it seems like, you know, everyone was telling her she shouldn't go there because she'll get killed. So I'm really not sure if she legitimately thought that he would change his mind if she told him, you know, the story. But she ends up doing this badass moment. And honestly, I think that at this point, I know that this might be very hilarious for me to say, considering that I don't like, feminist movies or feminazi movies or anything like that, or these stupid strong women stereotypes they do nowadays, and they ruin everything. But I think that this show should now be called The Young Woman because, Emily is completely, the best character of the show now. She has not one but two badass moments in the episode, and I really like her character a lot now. And I loved what she did. She attacked the eye patch guy, and then all of a sudden, this was the only thing I didn't like about the episode. All of a sudden, Jeff Bridges' character snipes 7 of the guys so they don't kill her. He snipes them in a matter of seconds. But the thing that I didn't like was the fact that there wasn't any reveal that he had a sniper rifle out until he was already shooting. And I think it would have been much more impactful and suspenseful if we showed him with the sniper rifle before Emily attacked the eye patch guy. And then what ends up happening is that, excuse me, sorry, I was like, ugh. John Lithgow is also calling in their ride home, so that they can leave, because the objective was to get Emily. They got Emily, they're gonna go. And so he made the call, and then this helicopter comes in and just kills all of the eye patch guys, the Taliban guys. So it was confirmed that this is the Taliban that they were dealing with in the last episode and this one. So that was my fault. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was just a little bit confused. But yeah, and then Emily also deals the final shot to the eye patch guy, and that's the end of the episode. And will Faraz live? Will he die? Who knows? I hope that he just doesn't die, honestly. It would be kind of cliche at this point. Because the whole episode you thought, okay, he's going to die here. Oh, no, okay, he's going to die here. And it would be so much better, if they just subverted that and he didn't die. Because that would have been really kind of lame. If he died at any point in this episode, it would have kind of downgraded the episode. So again, I give this episode an A+. I highly enjoyed it. I'm glad that I'm watching the show. I'm glad that I didn't stop watching because I got mad at the twist in the first season. And yeah, I can't wait for next episode. And this is hilarious. I never would have expected to be giving good reviews to The Old Man. I mean, just the title itself kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because, The Old Man, Jeff Bridges, I guess, or whoever is supposed to be the old man, he had a little fight scene in this episode, and he couldn't fight 2 guys without being, really tired and out of breath, and Emily had to help him with the last kill, so, yeah, he's not really, doing a lot of action this season. He's kind of just doing a little bit here and there. It's little spurts of action, and I hope we get a really good action scene with him sometime in the season, because that's the drawing point of the show, for some people at least. So please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of the episode, and then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest old man reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.